This is an iHeart podcast.
Welcome to Dirty Rush, the truth about sorority life, with your hosts, me, Gia Giudice,
Daisy Kent,
and Jennifer Fessler.
Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Dirty Rush. We are so excited that you guys are loving this podcast as much as we are. And Rush is happening right now for a lot of schools, so we are ready to dive deep. We know people have been wanting this kind of show for years, and we're so glad that you're responding, calling in, leaving voicemails, and sharing your own Rush experiences with the good and the bad. So let's get into it. I'm Gia Giudice.
I'm Jen Fessler.
And I'm Daisy Kent.
All right, guys. So we've had a lot of people calling in. Let's listen to our first caller.
Hi there. My name is Rosie. I wanted to call in and leave some constructive feedback. Like Fessler had mentioned, this is a huge untapped market, and there is a lot of taboo about talking about the sorority experience. And I think it would be super helpful if you all talked about it from a national perspective as well, like why we aren't really allowed to talk about sorority life and why we're not allowed to wear our letters in the press and those types of things. And then also there was some lingo that I think if we could break down a little bit better, like what a press actually is, what a bid actually is, what a pledge is, what a mixer is, those very things that we talk about in the sorority world. And I think it would be just really helpful for the girls in terms of how to make an informed decision about joining sorority life or not. And of course it goes campus to campus. It's not a one-size-fits-all approach, but if you are Teresa Giudice or, a mama or dad that is new to the sorority life or a girl that's new to sorority life, what that looks like for you, I think giving these behind-the-scenes facts is so helpful for women that are thinking about joining this experience.
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack during
right?
that. Okay, dirty rushing.
I thought it was sort of now, not when I was going through it, but when you rush before school even started, right? And like that whole rush process, I hear in a lot of schools happens before rush. And
okay, so my definition of like dirty rush was when like kind of like playing dirty. So when we were at Rutgers first semester, we would almost kind of get recruited by a sorority who had interest in us, but behind closed doors. So kind of they were basically trying to persuade us to go to a sorority before the rushing process started so that our minds were made up before going through the recruitment process.
Okay, mine was kind of like, because we did recruitment right when we got to school. I think we were at school like maybe like 2 weeks and then we went into recruitment. And so I would say ours was at San Diego State, you would like go out to all the frat parties and meet all the frat guys. None of the like actual sorority girls could go out because I don't know, you like weren't allowed. That was like your like dry period or whatever. And so you would go and you would meet all these guys and they were older guys like in the frats. And then they would all tell the sorority girls like what girls they thought were like cool and fun to hang out with and stuff like that.
Wait,
and I remember going to the parties and I had no idea that was happening. And then I remember when I was like a sophomore and I was like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. But it was so fun, honestly.
Wait, that's a wild definition of dirty rushing, having the frat guys do your homework, literally doing the sororities of homework.
Right?
I'm guessing they were probably basing it off of something sort of physical. That's just my guess.
Yeah,
they
probably.
weren't necessarily interested in what you were majoring in.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
What about you guys? What about this other lingo, rho gamma?
Rho gamma? Okay.
Right.
For me, that was like when you get divided into groups. So like you sign up for recruitment and then say they have like a bunch of rho gammas. So I was with a group of like 10 girls. And then we have one Rho Gamma, and she's already in a sorority, an older girl in a sorority. You don't know what sorority she's in, but she's trying to like help you navigate it and help you find the best like place that's the best like home and fit for you.
Yeah,
And
I'm
she's in a sorority, but she doesn't try to influence you.
no, they can't.
No.
Like they're not allowed. So
And do
they're
they
all
anyway?
no.
No.
You don't find out until the end. I mean, you'll try to guess who like what sorority they're in as you're going through recruitment, but they're basically in charge of like little groups like Daisy said. My definition was pretty much the same thing except I didn't call them Rho Gammas. They were called Pi Chis.
Hi, guys. We didn't have any of this.
No, you didn't have someone like leading you and directing you through like to houses and stuff.
I mean, we definitely had people leading us through, but there was I don't remember talking to anyone, but, the girls that I was grouped with, nobody was giving advice or, no, I don't. And if there was someone, we didn't call them Rogammas. We probably
Yeah.
just called them that nice girl who's helping.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was so helpful. I remember it. I forget the name of mine, but she was so insanely nice.
Really?
Yeah, no. I
Yeah.
mean, they were definitely super helpful. And it was so funny because during the recruitment process, we would all try to guess what sorority they were from and what sorority they were in. And basically, at the end, they would all reveal which sorority they were in, and everyone freaked out and like clapped their hands. It was honestly kind of stupid, but I mean, everyone got like so hyped, like learning what sorority they were
Yeah.
actually in, and when they like revealed their identity. But it was, I don't know, some of the things really make me
Yeah.
cringe now.
What
Literally.
else? What other lingo?
I think
you
she
guys-
asked what a bid was.
Yeah.
Okay. So a bid is basically when you are wanted by the sorority, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
That's
Yeah,
what was my idea
exactly.
too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like at the end, I remember we like got a little card and you like opened it up and like that was my bid to be an Alpha Phi.
Yeah. And then I guess technically as you get called back, I guess that's not really a bid, but I guess
Yeah.
it's like when the sororities are also showing interest in you that they want you back. So you're
Yeah.
hoping to get a potential bid at the end.
For sure.
Were either one of you guys on exec boards?
I was.
You are. So
I
tell
would-
us about that, G.
Yeah. So, I mean, one, they say it looks great on your resume. So
Yeah.
that is something good just to have like under your belt. But, you can obviously be the president, the vice president, treasurer, take one of those lead roles on, but they do take a lot of responsibility.
Yeah.
So I wanted to do something that was a little more fun and maybe not as much responsibility. So I was special chair of events. So I basically coordinated like all of our big events, which I like doing anyway. I kind of like party planning.
Yeah.
So I planned like our BMOC, which was Big Man on Campus for at Rutgers, and that was like our breast cancer walk because that was our philanthropy breast cancer. And so I planned BMOC, Parents Weekend, and a lot of the bigger events that Zeta would do at Rutgers. So that was a super fun like little position to have the board, but I wasn't like an exec because wasn't the execs like that's like the first tier. And then
Yeah.
I was,
Yeah. And then there's like ones under it.
yeah. So I was the ones like under it, but then exec is like the people who are all sitting at the front during your chapter meetings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
was
did
a rush chair.
too. You were rush
Oh, you
chair?
were rush
I was
chair?
rush chair.
Oh my gosh.
Oh
and I
my
remember probably so
God.
fun.
Yeah, and I wrote all of these songs too. You guys probably don't even know West Side Story, like back in the day, but I wrote all when you're a fi all the way, like all of this, and like the dances, and that was like
You were
I was-
definitely a nice rush chair.
Yeah,
Our rush
yeah.
chair was rough.
Well, what is it? I mean, back then I was rush chair, meaning that I was in charge of like all of the skits,
Yeah,
all of
like
like,
putting it together.
yeah, that's
Your
still what
Yeah.
it
little
is,
dances.
right? Yes, that's still
Yeah.
what it is, right? I mean, I
I
certainly didn't
mean,
do anything
yeah.
like
I
what you
think it's
see
also
now.
mainly now also like going through the social media and the
Yeah.
Instagrams and finding your potential recruits that you really want.
See, we didn't
And
have
Mhm.
social media, you guys. It was a whole different world.
yeah.
It was a
Yeah.
group of girls showing up, a big group, and us singing West Side Story and hoping that they were going to think that we were fabulous. It was just so different.
Yeah, it
Much
is so
easier.
different with social
Yeah.
media. I was on exec too. I did Panhellenic delegate. So I like went and met with the school and met with Panhellenic when they came in and talked to them. So that was really interesting. Because our
Did you
school,
have to get like mixers approved?
yeah, and like if you were on like probation or something like that, if your sorority or whatever was, because you would show up to the meeting at school on campus, and then it would be like all the other sororities there too, which it was fun because I was friends with a bunch of girls in other sororities too. So it was kind of a way to like mix and mingle that way too, and you could like pair up with a sorority and like do things together. So it was fun, but I definitely like I always knew like the tea that was going on. I felt like. But then I also had to like do accreditation for people. So accreditation was like, I think a good thing about sororities is that they make you do community service. You have to keep a certain GPA. So I was in charge of like tracking all of that and making sure girls got the amount of community service they had to do, making sure they were still at like a GPA, and then making sure they went to like certain events that like supported other philanthropies too. We did that. So yeah, that's what I did.
Did you enjoy it? Would you suggest it?
So I wasn't gonna do it, and then they like needed somebody, and people were asking me to do it, and I was like, okay, I guess I'll do it.
So a little forced.
Yeah, but honestly, I
Well,
liked it. And
I
it,
think
like
that's
kept
kind of
me,
how I did it too.
yeah,
'Cause I can't see me like just volunteering, wanting
and
to
it
take
kept
on
me
more
busy.
responsibility.
Yeah, I think. Do you know what I think is the hardest job on exec is risk chair.
Oh my God, I know.
That's where I think from what I remember from my son, because I think he did, don't you sit outside of parties for boys? Is that what that is? And you can't, and
Kind
like,
of. You're just like you're in charge of like the girls at your sorority. So if someone like is in like trouble or if someone like drinks too much, if something like
Yeah.
that happens, like you're the one like people are
responsible.
always like able to call kind of. And at like pref and like formals, you're in charge of like being the one kind of
And you have to be
responsible.
sober. Yup. If you're
Yeah.
risk chair, you have to be sober at these events. And I mean, of course, sometimes maybe they'll sneak a drink or two, but I think and you're always the bad guy,
Yeah, you're
kind
always the
of.
bad guy. That's why I think it's the hardest like one to be because you always have to be like keeping
I
everyone
only
in
remember
check.
that from my son. Like he'd be on his cell phone, like outside whatever party, like this sucks. I don't know why I volunteered for this.
I mean, because he
Because he couldn't
probably
drink.
had a monitor who was coming in and out of the frat.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not
Uh,
not a fun
Wow.
job.
Yeah.
All right. So any other lingo, you guys? I mean, I'm sure we'll come up with more. We'll
There's
remember
probably-
more.
Dorm storming.
Dorms.
Which this is like interesting, but like I don't think this was a part of like my recruitment process. I think it was just the normal thing to do when you were a freshman. So apparently dorm storming it's basically going from door to door in your dorm or residence halls to basically like interact with the people on your hall, and just like kind of recruit them for recruitment. But I don't think anyone ever did that. Like, I think it was mainly like for us going into my freshman year, it was normal. Like, I remember I was setting up my dorm room freshman year, and one of my good friends was a cheerleader at Rutgers, and she like just walked into my dorm and was like, "Hey, so like I'm a cheerleader here at Rutgers," and was like so giddy, and I was like, "Oh my God, what is going on?" But she was like at Rutgers all summer because she was training and like practicing for the cheer team.
Oh, okay.
So she was like so excited when we all moved in because she was like, I've been so lonely all summer. Like, I'm so excited to meet new friends. And I think it was just the normal thing to do as a freshman, just kind of knock on everyone's door, introduce yourself, and kind of get to know people just going into school. I don't think it really had anything to do necessarily with recruitment. What do you guys think?
I honestly have never heard of that before, but
But
They
you
didn't
did the
have in
same
Bama.
thing, right? When you were a freshman, you kind of went to people's
yeah.
doors, introduced yourself, made like friends with people
Oh,
on your hall.
100%. And we kept
Yeah,
our like dorm door always open, me and my roommate, Christy. It's actually funny. Thor, my boyfriend, was my next door neighbor in the dorm.
that's so funny. And so
I
you
want to do a
probably
whole
met him
thing
by
on
like
what your
introducing
boyfriend's name is
yourself.
Thor.
Yeah.
I love Daisy and Thor. That's like its own episode. We're gonna have to talk about that.
I
I
was
just
like, it
love
was
that.
funny when we were moving in together because people were like, oh, how is it like moving in together? And I was like, well, when I was 19, he definitely saw me at my worst and my best in the dorm room next door. So I was like, I don't think I can be much worse than that.
He saw it all.
What about a suicide bid?
That was a risky thing to
Oh, yeah.
do.
So that's like when you only, I mean, from my knowledge, because I remember a Rogam like telling us not to do this. It's when you only put like one sorority. So say you're on pref. Pref is the last night before you go to get your bid, and you have two sororities. And I didn't want one at all, but I wanted the other one, and I only put like Alpha Phi, and I didn't put anything else.
And they
Yeah,
know
because
that so
then
that they know that you're like
Yeah.
all in.
yes, because then if you only put down one, like during, like on pref day, like after you go to the voting room, and you kind of rank which sorority you want from greatest to least. So one, two, three. And, or is it two for pref, or is it three? Do you guys remember?
Mine was two. You only
Okay,
rate two.
so, okay, so then it probably is, oh yeah, because I prefed I think G Phi and Zeta. So I think it is maybe two. And then if you only put one sorority down and that sorority ended up not choosing you, then you get into nothing. So that's why it's called suicide bid, because you could potentially risk not getting into a sorority at all. So you just went through this whole process and then you could essentially like end up with nothing.
And I think it's because the sorority, I don't think they necessarily know, but Panhellenic knows. Because Panhellenic, it's like the sorority will put their bid in for you, and then you put what you want in, and then it kind of like matches up that way. But Panhellenic, I think, hates it when you do just one. So I think that that's part of the reason why too.
Yeah. I don't
It's like
I don't know that extent of it.
it's like so much. I'm like thinking back to that time. I'm like, whoa.
Imagine. And I think probably Daisy, it was better that you didn't know anything going in. I
Oh,
don't know
for
if that's
sure.
the case
I
everywhere,
honestly, yeah, 100%. I think I would have been
right?
like losing my mind a little bit. But also I think San Diego State like is not as intense at all as like other schools. So I mean, at first, when I first went in, I was like, what am I doing? And then I stuck with it because my roommate, and like, I'm so happy I did. I ended up having the time of my life. Let's bring in the caller.
Hi, Grace.
Another interesting element is I have two younger sisters. One of them went through Rush 2 years later while I was at school, and one is going through Rush right now. But the interesting thing is that my sorority actually dropped both of them in the
No
first
way.
round.
Wait, you actually just reminded me of something that I was gonna say to you that during COVID, though, that was also something that happened very often. They screwed up kind of like the legacy, of a sister because it doesn't matter across all boards. Say your sister didn't even go to the same college that you went to. She should always have that legacy of getting into
I
that
think so
sorority
too.
wherever.
Mhm.
So they really screwed that up. I know for a fact, during COVID and not during COVID. It seems to
Yeah.
be always a mistake,
Mhm.
but
Wow,
No, I
that would
think
have.
it's interesting. Somehow, I think that happened at my school too, where it just messed up the way that they did things to where legacy really was not as important as it may have used to been. And that is something that really put me off. It just,
Of
did
that's,
course.
you contact your sorority after?
yeah, I did. And they had zero good excuse for it. They were like, oh, it must have just slipped through the cracks.
Yeah,
Do you
Wow.
guys,
yeah.
where do, when they vote now, like, because that would have never happened back in the day. A sister, forget it, no way. But that was also a time where everybody would put their heads down and you would like raise your hand. Like it wasn't like social, like you can vote now. Is there like an app that you can vote on? So like
But
it's
they
so anonymous,
Yeah,
right?
that's what they
So
use in ours is you like rank people through an app and a lot more of it is done through technology. So maybe that's how people kind of slip through the cracks, but
Yeah. What was that app called? I
I
forget.
cannot remember for the life of me.
But it was, and yeah, it was like a whole system. Oh,
yeah, no, I just, that wouldn't have happened, I don't think.
Ours
When
was
I
just
went
on
in,
paper.
yeah, yeah, when I went
really?
in,
See,
I had
mine was
three
fully
best
on the
friends.
computer.
I had three of my best friends were already in AFI because I was a transfer student. And it was just nobody was going to go. I mean, there were three of them. So nobody was going to give them, any shit. So it was kind of like a shoe in. I, but even like that, like say if you had a mother that was a FI, you were getting in.
Yeah, see, that's an interesting thing too, because I had an aunt that went to the same school as me, and she was like, "Oh, you definitely will be able to get through and just be a Kappa," because that's what she was. And no, they dropped me both times I rushed.
It
And
will be interesting to like see how Greek life evolves even like in the next like 10 years.
I know, I think so too, because it's weird. I feel like I've seen so much change in the years that I was in school, and
Yeah.
it seems to be evolving a lot. So.
Oh, 100%.
I think sororities used to be more fun back probably when you were in a sorority, Jen, than they were
I
now.
mean,
Than
it
they
was
are
fun.
now.
Yeah, it was fun, but there was other shitty things that happened back then that wouldn't happen today, right? I
Yeah.
mean, just a lot of stuff like the mixing with the frats
Yeah.
and you know getting called and like standing in front of the house like when you got your bid, and then I think I told you guys about this a couple episodes ago, but like all the boys would show up and like I don't know, there was a bunch of just
Yeah, that's
like
crazy.
just in
I feel
case you
like
had self-esteem for a minute because you got in, like the next minute you were the only one without, maybe this is just my experience, without a date.
I
So
mean
like that, there's
that's
always
horrible
something,
though.
right? But yes, but I mean, it was no, we didn't have to contend with a lot of the stuff. I don't even know how you guys do it now. It's a lot, especially looking at these schools in the South and what's going on. It's absolutely over the top crazy, right?
Yeah.
It is pretty insane. And just, I think the social media element adds a
What's
level of,
Grace, if you don't mind me asking, what school was it?
I don't think, I don't think I want to say.
Oh, okay,
Okay.
no problem. No problem. But
Um,
you said it was down south though.
yeah, it
So it
was,
was really intense.
yeah, big
Okay.
Texas school, I'll say that. And
Okay.
so just very intense. And the moms even are very intense, the whole ordeal. Um, it's just I don't know. To a certain extent, I liked it and I gained a lot of great friends out of it. But looking back, there's so much superficialness to the whole thing that just makes me
Yeah.
feel a little bit icky.
That's why I feel like it used to be way more authentic than what it is now.
Yeah, definitely.
It
It's
was
in,
always superficial though, guys. There was always a level of that, I think. I mean,
Yeah. I feel like it
right?
is. And then you got to get like past that and find your like good friends.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's definitely the core of all of it. Once you find like your friends from it, that's what you want.
Yeah.
So your sister and your cousin are in it right now. I remember when my sisters were rushing, I was so nervous for them. So you probably feel the pressure.
Yeah, I am feeling the pressure a little bit. I mostly just feel for them so much because I know how it feels to go through the process and have it go really poorly or have it go really well. And even when it is going well, it's not a cakewalk. Like it still is intense and it brings up so much emotion. So they have both been calling me constantly in tears or so happy,
Oh.
and it's such a roller coaster, you know? And so I'm trying to support them through it the best I can, and luckily I can empathize, so that's definitely something that's been really cool throughout the whole process, but mostly I'm just excited for them to be done with it and start school and get to actually feel the benefit of the crazy process that they've been through. But one of them, my sister, it's going really well for her. She's gotten maybe not all the houses back, but a lot of the ones that she likes. And then unfortunately, my cousin, it's a little bit more touch and go. She's not sure about the houses that she had back. Originally, she got I think it was 10 that you could get in the first round. She got 10 back. She was kind of on top of the world. And then actually this morning she found out that she got, I think, only 3 out of 6 back for the next round. So I know that that's been kind of hard on her.
It's crazy that drop that can
Yeah.
happen.
I know it's so
Happens so fast.
worrying, I bet. Because, I mean, getting 10 back, that's pretty rare. It's a big deal, I think.
Yeah.
So to go from 10 to 3, I mean, my heart just hurts. Like that never feels good, even if
I'm
you,
so glad she has you though. Like what
yeah,
a thank
I'm really
goodness.
glad that I can help them through it because I know that when I was going through the process, I really wished that I had more people that I could kind of lean on who had gone through it and understood.
And you
Maybe there is
had
something to be said
both
for these sorority
experiences.
coaches. Maybe there is like, you know, something to have somebody who's actually does it professionally and understands what can happen at any given moment and can kind of coach you, through it a little bit and help out just the emotions of it all.
Hmm.
Maybe if it's a nice sorority coach, they're looking out for your mental health and not
Yeah,
maybe what color you should change your hair.
right. Right.
I mean, at least you went through kind of, I guess, both experiences, Grace. Like you had one that wasn't so great and one that obviously it got better at the end. So I feel like that definitely, is helping your cousin out right now. Because even if things don't go as planned for her right now, just tell her to try again.
I know. I think that could be good. And they have COB and all of that. So I know that she'll be fine. And if it's meant to be, she'll find that home eventually. And who knows, even
Oh
throughout
my
this rush
God, yes,
process.
the COB is, you just
Yeah.
brought up another sorority
Oh, yeah.
word.
What is it? I don't know what it is.
Yeah,
So, yeah,
continuous open bidding, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, like you basically just kind of get accepted in, right? It's
Yeah.
after Rush and they have a couple of girls that they can bring in if they want, but typically it happens the semester after.
Yeah. I think it's if the sorority doesn't meet their quota, or if some people like end up accepting a bid, but then not
And
going through
drop.
the initiation, they'll have extra spots and they'll kind of like just, yeah, it's a much chiller process. They'll kind of just be
They
like,
don't have to do
oh, this
anything. They
girl,
just
and she
walk in the door.
yeah, we know she wants to be a theta or whatever, and they're like, welcome.
What does it stand for, COB?
Continuous
Continuous.
open bidding.
Got it.
So that's always a good option too. I wish I could have done that. Would have been so much easier.
I hope your cousin's experience only goes up from here, and I'm happy
I
that your
hope so.
sister
Yes.
is doing great.
Wow. Okay, you guys, I feel for her. Obviously, I feel for her cousin and her sister, but to be outside of it and somebody you love is going through it. And again, I mean, I had a daughter go through it, and it's a different experience. It's almost harder, I think. I don't know. It's just knowing that like I wanted anybody that was going to reject my daughter Rachel,
Yeah.
like they had to die a slow and painful death. It's still like that. Like if she doesn't get a job or she doesn't get the boy, that has it. No, it has to be slow and painful. That person is dead, must be wiped off the map. So like, as a mom of it or cut, like you want the whole sorority, especially if it's your sorority. Imagine your own sorority is rejecting your sister.
Nah, I'd be
No,
so pissed.
no good.
Yeah. No, I definitely believe that it's harder as a mom watching it because I think about my mom and like anything I've gone through in my life. I remember one time she told me, she said, anything that I go through is 10 times harder than anything she's ever gone through. Like for her, like having to like watch me go through it if I'm like going through something hard. So I totally believe that. And my little sister too, someone does her wrong, I'm like,
I want to pounce.
Oh, that's it. You guys see that there's a TikTok right now of this mom who has Life 360 or whatever it is. So she's following her daughter through the process. She's like, okay, now she's at, I don't know, now she's at Theta. Now she's, oh my God, why did she stay in Theta for so long? Why didn't she walk out? You guys
no,
it's sick.
That's a little crazy.
I can't.
I would be like, Ma, get off the
I
app.
might have done that if it wasn't all on Zoom. But she's like freaking out. Like, wait a second. Why is she out on the porch? Why isn't she going in? Is she taught? Like, just the whole thing is so
hyper analyzing the entire thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I think right now, obviously, even for Grace and her cousin and her sister, I know it feels like the end of the world, but after college or even after your freshman year,
literally,
it doesn't even matter.
It doesn't matter. It's like, that's why I hate how like it's
like a fever dream in the moment, but then it goes away.
Like no matter what, you are going to be okay. Like if you're in a sorority, if you're not in a sorority, you're going to be fine. Like everything is going to be amazing. But it's like in that moment for some people.
So many of my friends didn't rush. Some of them got dropped from everything. Some of them didn't have the GPA.
Yeah.
And, a lot of my friends, you wouldn't expect them to get dropped either. Pretty girls, you wouldn't think that they would. But it's also hard if you get blacklisted or if you have a certain reputation from
I want to talk about that
out.
on one of our episodes, guys, about getting blacklisted and what that's about.
Definitely.
Right?
Well, I think it's a lot easier for girls to get blacklisted if they're rushing their sophomore year or if they're a transfer, because then it allows, obviously, the sororities to get to know you and look at you while you're out. And if they kind of don't like what they see, then you could get blacklisted. Or if you're screwing a sorority sister's boyfriend or this or that. And that's why this one girl got blacklisted, because she didn't know. And that's the hard part as a freshman. You don't know these frat boys and who they're dating and all the ties. And literally, I felt so bad. But my one friend in college, she got blacklisted and she couldn't rush because she ended up, having sex with someone's boyfriend.
Yeah.
And she had no idea.
I don't think the girls, and I'm just thinking about it, Delaware. Like, I don't think that they were allowed as freshmen to go to parties like with frat boys because of that very thing. Like, once you were in, you couldn't.
But what if you didn't rush your freshman year?
You didn't give a shit and you went. But if you were rushing or in a sorority,
then you weren't allowed.
Yeah. Your sorority.
Yeah. Well,
I always went. I don't know if I was supposed to or not. I guess.
Yeah. We
there.
weren't allowed to go out like during the rush process, but I definitely went out first semester for sure. And then, I mean, if girls didn't have the GPA and weren't allowed to rush freshman year, my friends went out. And I think you're the craziest your freshman year. I could be wrong. Like, I feel like that's the worst.
Yeah.
Everyone was nuts.
Freshman year is crazy. Honestly, though, there's nothing like it, though. It's so fun, too.
It was one of my best years. My freshman year and my junior year. My best year.
It's just everything's so new and exciting and scary, too. But it's like all of that, like, compiled together makes it great.
My daughter used to say she felt bad for anyone that didn't go to Delaware. I was like, Rachel, I feel like they're okay.
Right?
They went to other schools.
They're okay.
Like they're getting through.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's
Which is
cute.
a great way to feel. Not everybody does,
Oh
obviously.
my gosh, for sure.
For sure. There's so many. And I love you guys, the message that you guys are sending out that it's going to be okay. And this is coming from two girls that
Yeah.
love being in a sorority, you know, and that you have so many friends who it didn't work out for in terms of whatever, you know,
Yeah.
getting into the top tier.
Definitely. Yeah. So anyone listening, if you're going through it, if you went through it, or if you're a mom watching your daughter go through it, or a sibling or anyone, no matter what, it'll be okay.
Thank you, Miss Daisy.
This is an iHeart podcast.